let's dig in. It's official realtor time right now. It's 5 minutes after the hour. So let's dig in. So, and for Jeanette, who's new, Jeanette, on Fridays, we teach something. It could be any subject. Right now, we're kind of going through what to do in a shifted real estate market, since the market seems to be like seriously shifting, how you handle that and what you can do and tactics and those kinds of things. So the first thing that I want to dig into is this. Let me find the, cool. Let me find the graphic. I know I have it here, but I want to find it. What did I do with that graphic? And I want to talk about, there it is. Let's move you over to my other screen. There we go. And share screen. So the first thing that I want to talk about is this. So this is a strategic model for generating leads. It's a lead generation model and super simple. All it is here, you guys can see this, right?
Yep.
Awesome sauce. Okay, so allied resources in the center, people you've actually met here, people that you haven't met yet, but you're going after them. So maybe it is a neighborhood, maybe it is a business model, expireds, that kind of thing. Maybe it is a type of thing like I only want to go after Airbnbs or homes with additional dwelling units or farms, that kind of thing. And then general public here on the outside. And the reason why I wanted to start with this graph is because this is where you spend your time and money and conversion rates. So the more you move inside this circle, and allied resources are people who consistently refer you business. So it might be, for instance, a family member that is just, they toss everybody your direction. It could be a really good friend. It could be a B&I group, a business networking group. It could be let's say there's a loan officer that tosses deals your directions. That doesn't happen too often, but let's say it's like that. That's an allied resource. This is somebody that is right next to you, that this is your biggest raving fan. That's what these people are. These are people that consistently refer business into you. So allied resource met, haven't met, but you're targeting them. General public, don't know. This is Adam way out there. Who knows who the heck he is? Don't know who he is. The more you move inside this circle, two things. One, the cost of lead generating gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and your conversion rates are higher and higher. So the closer you are to the center of the bullseye, the less expensive it is to get business, and the higher your business will convert. So for instance, for every one person I know here, I might need to know 100 or 200 out here to get the same amount of business. So this person might refer me a deal a year or 2 deals a year, let's say, but the general public, I would probably have to know 1,000 people to get 2 deals a year or 500 or something. I don't know the actual, I do know the actual numbers, but it's much higher, especially if you're not talking to them. Okay, so I wanted to talk first about this part, and then your methods of staying in communication are going to be less frequent the further outside the circle you are, which makes sense. If you've got a good, strong allied resource, someone that refers you business on a consistent basis, you might be going to lunch with that person every single month and maybe see them once or twice throughout the month also in some other, arenas or avenues or something like that. But you're going to make sure that you're spending good quality time with that person on a consistent, regular basis, because they're your allied resource. Where the general public, you might just rub shoulders with once in a while. Your MET group, these are the groups that back on this business model where this actually came from, they talked about 8 contacts in 8 weeks and then 33 throughout the year. But your MET group, you're going to make sure that you're in communication with them a few times a month. So it'll be a few times a month that you're actually in communication with this group. And if it sounds like a lot, think about 1 email and 1 text, or 1 text and a brief phone call, or something like that. But it's a mixture of stuff. And if I got 1 email a month from a real estate agent, maybe 1 text a month, and a phone call 4 times a year, I don't feel like I'm being over communicated with. I really don't. Conversely, like, what was it, Bed Bath and Beyond or whatever, that sent you an email every single day. That's just too dang much, right? So that's your met group. This targeted group haven't met. This is one contact per month. So this is a newsletter, an email, a text. It's just, you're targeting after them. So a neighborhood, maybe you door knock a neighborhood, maybe you send out a postcard once a month to this neighborhood. That's what this group gets. And this group is just sort of general prospecting and marketing. So maybe it's a blog that goes out to a ton of people. Maybe it's a billboard or a bus bench. Maybe it's those, by the way, I'm not recommending billboards and bus benches and those kinds of things. They can work. I'm not saying spend your money on those things, and some people do those grocery cart things. They put them on the grocery carts and stuff like that. So there's a billion different ways. Everything works if you work the socks off of it. Some just cost more and have a lower conversion rate. The further you get outside the circle, the more expensive it's going to get and the lower your conversion rate. So for instance, a billboard probably costs a lot more money if you have billboards constantly up all over the place than if you're meeting for coffee with somebody, and just really enjoying their company with a cup of coffee. Do billboards work? Absolutely. As evidenced by, I'm sure in your state, it's been in every state that I've lived in and a bunch that I've traveled through, those big, huge Mark Spain billboards. The former guy that used to be the head of CADA, not the head, he was the #1 agent in CADA before he broke off and did his own thing. So anyway, so that's this. So as you are kind of building out lead generation, just keep this concept in mind. So on that part, does this part make sense? Any questions on this? Okay. Any questions or anything on this part? Nope. All right. Second thing, don't have graphics for it. On your lead generation, so now I'm moving into the shift book we talked about. So I'm in the next set of tactics. So we ran through running lean and mean, getting rid of all our expenses, red light, green light, all that kind of stuff. Now we're looking at your lead sources. So on this one, there's 3 columns. I could not find this graphic for the life of me. The first column is just a list of all the different lead sources that you would be willing to do on any level. So in this example, they've got door knocking, calling your sphere, agent referrals, newsletters, FISBOs, open houses, expired, sign calls, websites, client parties. Just make a raw list. And what you're looking for is just all the different ideas that you would do or would be interested in lead generating. If you live in an area that the houses sit on 10 acres each house, and you want to work your neighborhood, you're probably not going to door knock. You might ride your horse, but you're probably not going to be or your quad or something, but you're probably going to not be door knocking it. And people who live out like that don't want people ever knocking on their door because they all have guns and dogs, and there's a reason why they all have guns and dogs. So you really only want the things that you're like, yeah, I might do that. I don't do it now, or I could do it now. Maybe I do. But I'm not interested in it right away even, but I might do that in the future. That's not a bad one. I kind of like that one. Just make a raw list. So that's the first thing, is raw listing out everything. The next step is to sort of rank it into prioritize it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, I currently do now, and I like it and I want to keep on doing it. And 10, maybe someday in the future I might do that. I'm not really interested in doing it right now. So just take all your lead sources, sort of rank them down, and then once you have them ranked, you're looking at the top 3, 4, 5 things you're prioritizing them. And those are the things that that you decide that you're going to go after. And what the purpose of this exercise is it's to get you actively lead generating, if in either a way that you're currently doing it, what you might be able to do to plus it, and then adding other stuff in. And the reason why that's so important right now is because as the market's shrinking and the price points begin to shrink, that's what happens in a declining market, is that the cost goes down a bit and the units go down a bit. If you maintain where you are right now, you will go down with the market because money is going down and units are going down. So you cannot just maintain, you have to increase in order to just stay the same, to just stay the same. Now, if you increase the right way, you will not stay the same. You will grow exponentially through this because the thing that's in your favor is agents are leaving the industry. So I told you guys a couple of days ago, I think it was Wednesday, we're pacing to lose 120,000 agents. We lost 60,000 the first 6 months. We're losing about 10,000 per month. So we're pacing to lose 120,000, which is 7.5% of our industry. And that's not unusual in a declining market. Market gets tough, agents go. So that part's in your favor. Okay. So, but you've got to increase your lead generation. So write down all the different kinds of lead generation. If you're brand new, Jeanette, we'll talk about you and your situation because yours is a wee bit different right now because you are brand new and I don't want you scattered over trying to do 10 things at once. I really want you honed in on one. We'll build one and then you a second that you want to do, but the first one will be a system and it will operate like a system and then we'll add in the second one. Okay.
Would you repeat those statistics about the realtors leaving again?
Yes. So here's the stats. I just pulled these numbers for a talk I did on Tuesday. We're pacing this year to lose 120,000 real estate agents. It's 7.5% of our industry. The first 6 months, we lost 60,000. We're losing approximately 10,000 per month. I predict that number that's a very safe number. And the reason why is because, and this is just me talking, this isn't the stats. When realtor dues are due, agents leave in droves because they're, yep. So whether they're due, yep, in June or July in your state or November, December in your state, and it's usually one or the other. It's usually mid-year or end of the year they're due. Then you will see agents go like crazy. So those are safe numbers. If we're pacing already to do it, it's very safe. We'll hit it because next month is December. So that's that. Yep.
And these are national statistics, right?
Realtor.com.
Yeah.
That's a realtor.com stat. That one is. Here is a stat that is
Loss,
not.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just going to say, is that a net loss? Includes all the
Yes.
incoming agents?
Yes.
So it's a net loss.
It's a net loss. Yep. It's not a BS number. It's a legit, we're losing 7.5% of our workforce. Okay. Here's the second stat. This is not a realtor.com. This one I had a really rough time pulling, so I had to grab a bunch of different sources, but depending upon the source, 55,000 to 85,000 loan officers are leaving, we're pacing out to lose that many this year. For loan officers, they have to have their continuing ed and everything done before January 1st. So they all rotate out the month of December. So again, it's a safe number. That is 20 to 30% of the loan officers in America. 20 to 30%. It's huge. Here's what I want you to do to be able to leverage. There's because of those numbers, hang on, I'm going to throw you one more number and then I'm going to talk to you about how to leverage those. So 55,000 to 85,000 loan officers, 20 to 30%. 120,000 agents, 7.5%, 20 to 30% of the loan officers. Mortgage applications are down to the lowest rate that they've been since 1995. That means that people are not putting in to buy, I need to get a mortgage to buy a house. Does that mean some people might be buying all cash and investors? It sure does. But it also means that your typical buyer isn't buying right now because those rates are 1995. What is that? 30 years ago almost? That's low. Okay, so mortgage application starts lowest they've been in almost 30 years. Okay, here's how to strategically leverage these facts of this market that we're in. The first one is this. Real estate agents are leaving. 10,000 per month-ish are leaving. If you know real estate agents that seem primed to leave, they're older maybe, or they're just got into it, but specifically the older real estate agent that's just like, screw, and I saw this in droves in 07, 8, 9. They're like, screw this. I know what's coming. I'm done. Like, they don't invest. They don't know anything about investing. They just know like regular old fashioned real estate. They'll start leaving in crazy, like crazy. If you know those, identify those that you know, and just take them out for coffee and have conversation with them. Are you think I'd like your opinion about what you think is coming. That's a great way to start that one. And then the second thing is, are you gonna hang out for this? Or, are you thinking about exiting? Like, what's your plan of action? If they're thinking about exiting, get their database. Their database is worth gold. If they're thinking about exiting, they can stay in referral. You can work their database. It's a very easy letter. You put together a letter, you both sign it. It goes out to the entire database, which basically says, hey, look, I'm bringing on a business partner. My new business partner is Anna, and I just wanted to introduce you to Anna. Anna is da 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 da. And that would come from Shirley's. It looks like it came from Shirley. It looks like it came from Shirley's email too. This needs to come from Shirley. That's her connection, but it totally introduces Anna. And then Anna would have the database, and Anna would start contacting into the database of, hey, I just wanted to touch bases with you. Shirley asked me to call and just find out, if there's anything you ever need help with, and just introduce myself. And that's how you start to take over that database. And hopefully Shirley has notes in her database. And then it's even easier because you've got the notes and you know kind of what the conversation can be and how to take it from there. So talk to agents that you identify as possibly leaving and see if you can grab their databases. You can structure anything you want. If it were me and I was pulling a database, I would probably pull something like 25% off everything would go out to her for the first year, maybe 15% for the second and 10 for the third. That'd be an easy way to track it.
Say that again. You went way too fast.
Sorry, sweetie. There's many different ways to negotiate out a database deal. There's one is just a flat fee. I'll give you 5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, 100 grand, whatever for your database. That's one. I don't like that one. The other one is I'll give you 25% off everything in perpetuity off that database. That's another way. Don't like that one either. But it's just depends upon you and this person. The third one that I've heard of is I will do them X amount of referrals deep. So if your database is 100 people and any one of those 100 people ever give me a deal, you'll get 25% off of it. If they refer somebody, then I'll give you 15% off that. And if they refer somebody, I'll give you 10%. So it goes by referrals. I don't like that either. It is a nightmare to track. I know people who've done that, and I'm like, that is a nightmare BS tracking spreadsheet, trashy garbage mess. The one that I like is for 1 year, I'll give you 25% off everything I get off of this. Year 2, I'm going to give you 15% off everything I get off of this. Year 3, I'm going to give you 10%. I like that one. That's my favorite. It's easy to track. It phases it out. It gives them a bigger chunk in the beginning and a smaller chunk, as they're kind of establishing their life in retirement. For my database, when I sold my database, I pulled as much as 90% off of the beginning of it and then whittled it all the way down to the end to 10% off of the end. You can structure this however it works and whatever you and that person agree to. Or they might just go, yeah, I don't want to work it. You can have it. Because they don't understand the value and the gold in that database. There's gold in that database. There really is. So that's one thing that you can do to leverage this. The next thing.
Can I ask a quick question? I'm so sorry.
Don't. I talk nonstop. You go.
Sorry, my ADD is going to make me forget. I'm so sorry. But this is a really good topic. I was curious to know, where do those agents typically hang out? If we don't know the agents that are exiting the market and the industry, where can we possibly meet them and find them? Because I feel like the real estate events that we typically go to, they're already checked out. So they're probably not going to be there. Is there a way that you think we could possibly use to target these agents that are about to check out of the industry?
So I have 3 ideas and none of them are great, but I'm going to toss them at you. One is, Kathy, did you have an idea?
I do.
Let's hear yours. Possibly better than mine.
I'm not good at these things, you know that, but I do know in our MLSs, you can get a list of all the agents.
Mhm.
If you monitor that and compare it, then it'll show you what's left. So you can see when they've moved.
Another idea. Oh, Kathy, you're brilliant. You know,
They may not be out of the business. They may have transferred to another MLS, moved,
right,
but
right. Okay. Three things, four things, at least three. The first one, in every state, there's a realtor number. Y'all have a realtor number, right? You can get, you can go in your MLS and you can pull the list of all the agents. Most of those MLS lists will also give you their real estate license number. Look for the old numbers.
oh,
That's the first one. The second one, network out through your loan officers. The third one, network out through your title people. The fourth one, pull open if you've got a couple of big companies, there's probably only 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7 big companies in your area. Sometimes there's just 2 or 3. Pull open the big companies, pull open their website. This is bad. Look for the old people. Like look for their license number. And if their license number is old too, bingo, you've got it.
Gotcha. That's a good idea.
I would pull off license number. If I can get access to that, I'm going to pull off license number because that's my best indicator they've been in this business a while.
Do you by any chance know? Because I feel like I don't know, barring any personal issues that would make them quit, the ones that have been in the industry the longest and have gone through the 2007, 8, 9 crisis that we had, I feel like those are primed to know how to survive this, don't you think? I wonder if NAR has any stats on like how the length of the license and your probability of exiting. Do you know if there are any stats on that, Love?
No, I don't know of any. They're not saying they're not out there. I just don't know. But here's what I think also, because I watched it in 7, 8, 9, and I would agree with you that the ones that have been through it a bunch, but then there's a certain age where you come along and you're like, I know what this is like, and I just so do not want to hustle. I just want to work referrals. I'm 70 and I'm just flat out done with this bad market crap. I know what it takes and I don't want to do it. And so there's that component. And then the ones that will really leave are the ones that came in 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe from 2012 on, 13 on, where it was real estate was pretty decent, where it wasn't so bad. The ones that were only in last time, well, especially the ones that came in 05, because they came in at the height of the market, they left like crazy. They were just like, yeah, we're done. They were forced out actually, because they didn't know what to do. The ones that had only seen up, came in right after the prior bad market, they were the ones that were like, screw this. And they were more forced out than anything else. But the veterans that were older, and I'm talking our Q-tips, our really old people who were just like, screw it, I'm not doing this again. Not doing it. So,
That's a great idea. So much.
thank you. Now here's my other one. How do we leverage the loan officer numbers? So loan officers are leaving the industry like crazy, and they're being forced out from companies that are restructuring and reorganizing, and they're not making any money. So the ones that are staying in are really scrambling because they're not making any money because mortgage application rates are down so low. So for those people, that conversation with every loan officer, just all of them, is literally like, have you ever thought about getting your license? And the reason why is you can sell real estate or not sell real estate. That's really up to you. You know a ton of real estate agents though, like a ton. You can bring over real estate agents, never sell a dang thing if you don't want to, and just do that. And that can be your business model. And you can make money off of stock and rev share and all those kinds of things just from doing that side of it. Now, you can still do loans. You will not be allowed it within EXP. And this is most big companies. You will not be allowed to do loans on the deals that you are working. So if you're working the deal as an agent, you cannot work the deal as a loan officer. That's the only rule. That's almost all big companies. So they're used to that rule. So, but your loan officers can get licensed. And for a loan officer, I just read this stat also, which blew me away. The average loan that happened in America over 2023, all the loan companies on average went negative $500 per loan that they did. Negative $500 to be able to facilitate getting that loan through. I was like, holy moly, no wonder the companies are pulling everybody out, laying people off left and right, tightening their belt like crazy. And that's smart. Their industry's down, applications are down, you know, and they're losing money on the loans that they're doing. I'm like, phew. Okay, so that's how I would leverage that one. Yeah, those are those numbers. Okay, any questions over this part, all this part? And I don't know if I have another thing or not. I have to look and see if I have one more thing to talk about. I can save that one for later. Let me see what this one was. What I had marked in here.
There is another place, Gina, at least in Seabraw and Rain, you can look up the agent and see how many listings they have. And you can also see, I believe there is a way to go in and see how much they've done, how many transactions or what their transaction average is. Because other brokers look up that information before they go and recruit people. I don't know how to do it, but I've heard it's available.
It's in the MLS.
I do.
It's in the MLS, right?
Yep. Yeah. So
I don't know how to do it either. I'll have to figure it out.
Oh, so it's super cool. So you can pull your MLS and you can pull almost all MLSs as long as they leave the function turned on. Some will turn it off. You can look up who the top agents are and you can sort it by agent order as far as listings or buy side or total. Some, like I said, some MLSs will turn it off, but you can usually look up the top agents. For broker owners, they have a program. They have two programs. They have one that's Broker Metrics, and if they don't have that, they have Trend Graphics. And those are the two programs. They're pricey though, that you can pull in. They're tied to the MLS, and you can.
You said Broker Matrix and Broker what else?
Broker Metrics is one. It's pricey, and brokers have access to it. So like any broker owner, 99% of the time has Broker Metrics, or the other one is called Trend Graphics, and graphics is spelled with an X at the end instead of CS. So it's Trend Graphics. They usually have one or the other of those programs. Almost always they have one or the other of those. So that's how they pull it. You can usually, it all pulls off the MLS. 99% of the time the MLSs have it also, and you can pull it off of the MLS. This is a great thing to do because you will then know who your competition is, and then you can pull their numbers and stats and see where you beat the competition, and you almost always do. And if you're brand new, the company will beat it on some level. And that reminds me of one more thing that Anna said, because she mentioned it, and I said that that was a cool thing to talk about. So let me see if I can find in my cool tools, or I have to find my file folder called cool tools. Dang it. I'm going to explain what this is because I don't know if I can find it or not, but let's see if I can find this up here. Cool tools. Let's see if it's in my cool tools on this map. So what this is, it takes a little bit of research to put together. Well, hang on. I found it. All right. Let's screen share. It's going to be easier on a screen share. Okay. So this takes a little bit of work to put together. But once put together, this puppy is gold. I mean, it is gold. So this is Gina Hansen circa 2007, literally 2007. So it's old, but it worked out super good. So this is me, Run with the Best, the name of my team. This is all the other big players in my area at the time in the city that I lived in. Regional, national, regional, national.
You okay? Will you go outside for me?
Let's mute up Amanda. Okay, so anyway, so these are the big companies. And what I did was I had my assistant do it, but you can do it. Contacted every single one of these big companies. You only want to talk to the front desk receptionist person. You do not want to talk to an agent. If they say, I'm going to switch you over to an agent, and the contact is this, or the call is this. Hey, I'm thinking about listing my house. I don't want to talk to an agent or anything yet. I'm really in the beginning processes of trying to figure out what I want to do. And I just want to find out like, what do you guys do on average? What do you guys do as a company? You know, when someone lists their house, what do you guys do? And the reason why you don't want an agent, you really don't want what that agent does. You really want what the company does. And also the reason why I stick with the front desk receptionist person, because they don't know as much. They just don't. You know, some of them are highly trained and know everything. Some of them don't know squat. Shame on that company for having their front person up there not knowing anything. Anyway, so you want to ask them, you know, what do they do on average? And then you just write it down, whatever it is that they say. So contact all your biggies, write it down. So the point of this is your column here, you want to have as many X's as possible all the way down, except for some that you want to be able to talk about. And you want their columns to be pretty not full. All right. We want a whole bunch of stuff on here that they don't do. All right. So the way that you use this on a listing appointment is you say, look, here's what my company does. Here's what my team does. And here's what we did all the research. Here's what all the other ones do. You will see that we do boom, 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 boom. Well, I don't do open houses. And here's why I don't do, this is just my business. So use this line if you want to. Can you guys still hear me? My internet's sketchy.
Now we can.
All right. Sorry. So the way that you want to use this are the things that you don't want to do. These are your talking points. Look, we don't do open houses. I don't do them personally. If you want someone, I'm going to grab one of the agents off my team. They'll be happy to do it for you. It sells the neighbor's house, not yours. If it's something you want, let me know. We also don't do pay-per-click ads. We haven't, back then they didn't work. I mean, they just didn't. We don't advertise in the newspaper because only 0.02 to 0.05% of deals actually come from the newspaper. So I don't want to spend your money or mine on something that doesn't work. And we don't do homes and land in real estate magazine. We used to be able to find these in the grocery stores because by the time these are printed, your house is already sold and everyone's pissed off at me. So it doesn't really do any good because everybody wanted this. They were like, oh, that's so cool. And I'm like, or the price is reduced and then they're mad at you. So, and we don't do billboards because billboards sell me, they don't sell the house. So it gives you the opportunity to be able to tell people up front, especially if in your area, everybody's like, well, I want you to advertise on this stupid magazine that doesn't do anything anyway. Well, like, I don't do it. And here's why I don't do it. And so you can head off that kind of stuff. This differentiates you from everybody else out there. And it's your value statement. So that's specifically because Anna was asking about that. Any questions on this type of a scenario on how to put this thing together?
Do you want to send us a copy?
If
So we
you
can work
want
off
a
of it?
copy, I'm going to write it down so I can services.pdf because I can never find the dang thing when I want to find the dang thing. And let me see if I can put it into, I don't know if it's going to let me put it into services.p. I don't think that's going to work. Let me see if I can do it.
Love, did you offer like different tiered commissions by any chance?
I didn't, but I do know of people who did that. I added things into my commission. Later on, I added in towards the end, I added in the TC cost, but I didn't tier different stuff. If you're going to tier, find out if it's legal in your state. Some states don't. The best person to tier that I know of is Nick DeVito, who's a honey badger. You can reach out to him and he'll walk you through how he tiers his stuff. He tiers all of his stuff. That's just what he does. He's really good at it, actually.
So like he he says like, this is my 6% package, 7% package, 8% package.
Yep.
Nick DeVito.
Yep.
Thank you so much though.
Did this work?
You had him talk to us once, didn't you?
I did have him talk to you guys once. And he
That's what I
might have
thought.
talked about tiering, actually. I don't think that worked. I think I have to put this into.
It didn't put a hyperlink on it or anything. You just typed
That's what I thought.
services.pdf.
Fressum. Okay, I'll have to send it. Let's do this way. Message, share file. Will you let me share file? Oh, cancel. Don't let me.
Are you going to send it to? Yeah, I'm on my phone and I can't even see chat or anything. So
Can make changes, share file, copy link. Let's see if that works.
oh wait, maybe I can. All I see is services.pdf.
Yeah, it's not working. I need to actually, I'm gonna try one more thing and see if I can get one more thing in here. Let's try Control V. Nope, it's not gonna let me. Nope, it's not gonna. All right, I'll have to send it. Okay, that's okay. I'll send it. All right, there you go. There's that's all I really want to hit on today are those things, some strategies on how to get some business coming in from loan officers, flipping them over into real estate, agents grabbing their database, you're getting your lead sources written down and figured out, and then kind of prioritized on what it is you guys want to do, because you'll need to increase those to stay the same. And then Jeanette and Amanda, for the two of you, the Jeanette, you got into, Jeanette, you're still here, right? I have my screen. There you are. You got into the website yesterday. Did it make sense to you? Okay, perfect. You got in. Did it make sense to you on kind of where you start in with building out your database and who you talk to and what you say and all those kinds of things? Going once, going twice. You're still muted, Jeanette. Okay, well, I hope that
Sorry about that. Yeah, as of now, I don't have any questions. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I was trying to figure out the workplace stuff and all that stuff yesterday, so I didn't start on that. Well, I started on a mini list, but I'm gonna be doing that like throughout the weekend.
no problem at all, and it makes total sense. So here's for you two, because you guys are brand new. What I want you guys to do is just work on, it'll take you a week or two to get your sphere completely done and contacted all the way through. That's your first priority. I mean, figure out your workplace and get your EXP site figured up and all that. But your first priority is to get your database gone through. It's on there. I think it's like number 4 on that list of things to get going on real estate. Don't worry about picking up another form of lead generation now. It's just your database and your sphere. Once you do what the 90 days tells you to do in your database, you'll have every single person reached out, attempted at least to reach out. You'll have as much information as possible that you can get on them. And you will have, most importantly, a next contact date set. That is the most important part. Once you have every single person in your database has a next contact date set, then you're ready to pick up another form of lead generation, because from that point forward, every day you open up your database, it's going to go, Jeanette, here's the 15 people I got to talk to. Amanda, here's your, 7 people you got to talk to today. Here's your notes from last time. Tried 3 times, haven't been able to reach them, or talk to them and their dog was at the vet and I want to check in on, George the dog or whatever. But you will have your notes and everything. And then, like I said, all you need is every single person that has that next contact date. Then we're ready to pick up another form of lead generation, which could be anything your little heart desires. Wide open, but you've got to get that database up and going first. And Anna can definitely talk to that, because I know Anna, it took her Anna a little bit to get that, but she got that database up and going.
And that database is going to go into KV Core, right?
Yep. Anna, you got any database gold for them?
I would say start as soon as possible. You think you have time, but I promise you're losing clients. Any conversation you have with anyone, put them in there and incorporate smart campaigns. So the first thing that I would do, I would do the data dump that Gina is recommending. Second thing that I would do is create smart campaigns. And I'm sure smart campaigns are around there somewhere, but just create language that you would want them to hear from you. So make it personal to you, make it sound like as if it is you who's reaching out. And if you need any of the tokens of the stuff that I have, I'm happy to share. And you could just customize it from there. I don't like that KV Core does not auto-populate campaigns for you. I just recently migrated over to Chime, and they have a database of, I think, 90 or 70 some different campaigns, something in the ballpark of dozens. But KV Core does not come with campaigns, so don't think that the database is going to run itself unless you set it up. I would do 1 week set aside for daily KV Core training and daily smart campaign nurturing, because I can tell you if you set it up, if you take the time in the beginning, it's going to start giving back in multiples, because the time for 6 months I did zero prospecting, and for 6 months I continued to get communication from the people that were already responding to my campaign. So I could say definitely spend the time. It's worth it.
Yep.
The KV Core campaigns, I mean, they go out and they do work, right?
Yes, they were. Yes, that's not what she's saying. She's saying they weren't preloaded in automatically.
Oh, you have to set them up. They're not preloaded.
Right. Is that
Yeah.
right, Anna?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, love. That was my experience. At least when I opened mine, I don't think that I got any campaigns that were
And
already.
what is smart campaigns? I mean, this we're talking about automated emails and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Smart campaigns are like basically you set your contact points, your touch points with the people. So you say, okay, I want my seller leads to get this email first, this text first, and for any calls that you put in, it just sends you a task reminder to say, hey, call this person today. It won't call it for you, but the text and the emails, it can send automatically on your behalf. So that way you don't have to worry about it. So you can differentiate campaigns, and you can create campaigns for each different category of people that you have in your database. Like buyers can have their own campaigns, investors can have their own campaigns, because you're talking lingo. You're using different lingo for each subset of the population. And then your sellers, your agents, if you're doing agent attraction campaigns. So they all have different lingos and different touch points that you'll have. And you just go in on KV Core and you program it. You say, okay, the first thing that happens when this contact gets added to my database, this is what I want to happen. I first want them to get a text, and then I want them to get another text, or I want them to get a call, and then text. And then 7 days after, I want them to get an email. And then 5 days after, I want them to get another email. So you program everything on there. That's how the database runs itself eventually. Without that, without giving KV Core instructions on how you want your leads to be handled, it's like a Rolodex, basically. You have your contacts nicely organized for you. You can pull up information, notes, birthdays, whatever on each person, but it does nothing unless you set the smart campaigns. Make
Exactly.
sense?
Yeah, and then I'm sorry, I'm gonna go off topic a little bit. Does anybody have like a checklist for documents that you need for a buyer, then a seller, then maybe a renter? Because what happens when I get that phone call for a buyer, I know, consumer notice and then buyer agreement, but like what happens after that? I have no
You're in
idea what
Pittsburgh.
type of documents.
I mean, you're in Philly. In every state, it's a little bit different. And different states load up different things in Sky Slope. So if it's not in Sky Slope already, then your broker might have that list, but some people are tied into, it's not jot forms. What is it? It's
Does SkySlope have like a checklist that you can go down and say, okay, I provided them with this,
some
this, and this. Now I need that.
Some states have it built in. If you're on the Pittsburgh side of Pennsylvania, it does, I know for a fact it's not built in. If you're on the Philly side, I don't know if it's built in or not. So which
I don't
side?
even know where Pittsburgh and Philly are. Oh my gosh.
Hang
See how
on.
terrible I
In
am?
Pennsylvania.
What part
Yeah,
of
they're so far.
Pennsylvania are you in?
I'm in central Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Eastern.
God.
The
So like
eastern side
central
of it.
southern.
She's,
No, I'm not on the eastern. I'm in the central southern part.
okay, I really don't know because I know that you take your state and you divide it in half, and Pittsburgh on it.
Philadelphia is to the west of me.
Right. Philly's on the.
No, it's
No.
on the east. It's on the
Philly's-
east.
if you're in the middle, Philly's on your east. I can't believe I'm from the West Coast and I'm going through this. So
Problem.
I know it divides it in half, your state and the way that they operate. It depends because you're in the middle. I don't know what to tell you if you're on the western side or the eastern side. But
Yeah,
I do
Pittsburgh
that-
is to the west, much west of me, and Philadelphia is to the
so it's
east. So I'm like dead.
so
I'm closer to Philadelphia technically.
So hopefully you have it in there. Go in SkySlope first and see if it's in there. If not, pop into your broker room or your broker stateroom on Workplace and ask if anybody has it. And it may differ slightly based upon your MLS also. It depends upon how they divide up everything in your state.
There's also Workplace.
Right.
There's a lot of state information on Workplace.
Yep, it's a
At
good
least in
source.
Okay,
Virginia.
I just thought I'd ask before. A client, what do I do? Sorry, you broke up there, Gina.
I know, I got lost for a minute, so all I have is what do I do? For what?
I was just saying it's a little intimidating that first client you get, whether they're buyer or seller, making sure you have all their paperwork together. So
Oh, guess what?
I wanted to ask before I
Yep.
walked into the broker room.
Okay, so
It's intimidating for me
it's no matter
because there's new stuff that comes out all the time.
no matter what, it's going to be, you're going to be, bless you, sweetie. No matter what, you're going to be terrified, intimidated, scared to death, freaked out, quietly and privately going insane, no matter what. We can help mitigate some of it, but not all of it. So you're right to go. I would go into first go to SkySlope and see if it's already in there. Some states have it loaded, some areas have it loaded, some don't. If it's not in there, go into your state group and Workplace and throw sometimes they have works just like Facebook. So see if they have files or docs in there that you can pull off of. That'd be the first thing. The second thing I do. The third thing is I would throw a message up on there of who's got this for our area. Name your area. Who's got this? And then I would build it into my SkySlope. So if it's not already built in there, I would have it all built in. So it was already up and automatic, and I would have the forms together in a folder, a buyer folder and a seller folder.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. And I do have access to all the Pennsylvania documents that they want off the Pennsylvania, my association page. So I have all the documents. I just am like, which ones go where?
Yeah. So I would build your zip forms. That's what I wanted to say. Zip
I
forms.
have zip forms. I just applied to that.
Perfect. It might be in zip forms also. So
yes and no. So I can pull all the forms, but again, there's not like just a checklist. There's not like, okay, you've got a buyer. Now what? Here's your forms. Make sure you have them.
Yep. So toss it up on the Workplace group and see if anyone's got a good checklist for you.
Love the checklist. Oh, I'm so sorry, Gina.
Go, sweetie.
The checklist is on SkySlope. When you create a buyer's transaction or a seller transaction, you could set up a fake one just so you could see. You could just put name, testing, or whatever else, and it auto-populates the checklist of all the documents your state broker is going to require to close the transaction. That way you know.
Oh, that's what I needed, Anna. You're amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, of course.
I'm so afraid to test some of these things because, when you start a transaction, I'm like, oh no, I'm not really starting a transaction. I'm just testing.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. You could just put testing as the name, and then because you just want to see the checklist. You just want to see what the checklist is going to look like, so you'll know exactly what docs to give to the people.
Which ones to put in a folder, and then peace of mind to know that when I upload a new person, it'll be there and I won't have to scramble. I like to prep. I like to prepare.
You guys just reminded me of something that I used to teach agents all the time when you're brand new. Practice on your house. So practice listing your house all the way through start to finish. Don't push all like if you're going to practice entering it into the MLS, don't make it go live. Whatever the go live button is in your MLS, don't push that one. But everything else, pretend like you're listing your house all the way through SkySlope, test, but just do your house. Do a CMA on your house, pretend list your house, pretend do marketing remarks on your house, pretend to buy your house on the buyer side. Just pretend on your property. It doesn't matter if it's a rental or not, pretend that it's not. And just walk your way all the way through practicing on your property.
And that's in the MLS, and then can I do that in KV Core as well? And then
Yeah,
Sky Slope and okay, so
yeah, all the
there's
way.
just so many platforms.
There really is on the KV Core side. That's marketing, so that's your database. So put yourself in there and set up yourself on a smart plan. Just use you and yourself in your house for whatever the tool is to get in there and play around with it, because you can take all the classes in the world and that's awesome. You really learn when you get in there and play. That's when you really learn, and it just solidifies it on your brain. So just get in there and play.
Okay, as long as I can't break it, because
You
I've
can't
broken
break
things
it.
before.
I promise you, from and for the
I-
girl who
I'm
breaks
a-
everything also, I promise you, you'll be okay. So recapping, newbies, sphere, just work on getting your sphere, test out all your stuff. Experienced, who's already got your sphere done. If your sphere is not done, get your sphere done. But experienced, talk to loan officers about becoming licensed. Identify your older real estate agents that might be leaving the industry about grabbing that sphere or negotiating a deal out to get that sphere. It's a great way, if you're newer especially, to get a built-in database. It's going after that sphere. Identify your lead sources, prioritize them as to what you want to go after, and then how to differentiate yourself away from the other agents of what makes it, what's very special about you and your business on an easy graphic. And I would build something that I would just have on my iPad, a super simple graphic that I could get out to everybody. And I would not do 2 pages like I did either. It was clunky, and that's whatever, it's 20 years old. So just grain of salt. Okay, have a fabulous weekend and continue being the fabulous people that you are. Because, and I've said this before, and it's really, really true, you are honest and responsible and legal, and beyond that, you are ethical. And that makes you better than 99% of the people out there. And especially now, the world needs you. It needs you. So go be you. That's it.